Welcome to My Vertical Obsession. I'm your host Megan, and today we are talking about Bound by Duty on ReelShort. And this stars Casey Schreier as Valentina Cavallaro, Chase Matson as Dante Cavallaro, Sarah Randall as Palmina, and Aidan Dobson as Antonio Ersco. So the synopsis for this one is based on the novel by Cora Riley. As the heir to the Chicago mafia, Dante is logical to a fault. The only thing Valentina has in common with him is being a widow. When Dante chooses her as his next wife, it's a business decision made by a man still haunted from losing the love of his life. But Valentina won't repeat the lovelessness of her first marriage. As she struggles with her own desire for her new husband, little does she know his heart may already have started beating for her. A little overview I did for this was Valentina lost her husband, Antonio. Dante lost his first wife, and because Valentina was married into the mob already, she was someone who wouldn't break easy, and that is why Dante chose to marry her. Dante tells her that he will never love her, but Val is determined to try and get him to fall for her. Val is also worried that if it comes out that she was married to a gay man, that Dante won't care for her anymore, and it will disgrace both of them, as it is a shame in the mafia world. Dante ends up falling for Valentina and finally letting go of his first wife. After Val finds out she's pregnant, Dante does what he can to prove he's all about her and the baby. That is until Antonio returns, not so dead, wanting Val to kill Dante. When Val can't kill Dante, Dante sends her away for her safety, which ends up letting Antonio kidnap her. Dante comes in to save Val, but ends up getting shot. And then it ends with the to be continued. Just kind of try to summarize it instead of doing a whole breakdown of the series, because I know I've done that in the past where I've done like this whole breakdown of way too long of a overview. So I was trying to keep it short, sweet, to the point. So now on to the talking points. The first one I had was about Dante, because when this one came out and they came out with the name and said he was the head of the Chicago mafia, I was a little bit confused because I was like, well, wasn't in Bound by Love there Dante Cavallaro? And it just kind of like threw me off that there was two different actors playing the same role. And I was like, was that an accident or is he supposed to be someone else? Because also it made me question, like, where does this fit in Bound by Love? Like, does it come before it? Does it come after it? When you look it up in the book series, it shows that it does come before Bound by Love. So that's where I'm kind of like going, did they do it based solely on the book? So this one technically is supposed to come before Bound by Love? Because I don't remember Val being mentioned in Bound by Love. So that's what's kind of like throwing me off. Just know that he was a rival to Luca. So it just kind of confused me a little bit. And I'm not mad about this Dante. Chase does a fantastic job playing this character. I love it. I was just very confused because we had met him as a completely different actor playing him before this. So it was just one of those things where I was just like a little confused how that worked. But I may also be like very overthinking this whole thing. But that was like the main thing that I had for that. It's just like the fact that that character had two different actors. So it was threw me off a little bit. But, or I guess because he wasn't actually Dante Cavallaro, he was just Dante, he might not have been the same character. So even more confused. Again, I think I'm just overthinking the whole thing. So the next point I had was the cliffhanger. I was so mad about that, but also happy at the same time because we do get another series. So they have the second part of the series dropping at the end of the week or the beginning of next week. I think it's the 23rd of August is when it drops. But we still hadn't gotten a trailer. We get the trailer now, so we do kind of see where things are. But it was just one of those things where the ending goes, Dante gets shot, and then you're just like, wait, you can't end it like that. No. Does he survive? What happens? And of course, if you've read the books, I'm sure you know what happens. But me as not reading the books going, what? No. But I'm glad we don't have to wait too long for the next series or the next part of the series. We get to see the continuation very soon. So I am thankful for that, because if there was the cliffhanger and we had to wait a year, I think I would lose my mind a little, because I'd be like, I need to know what happens next. So I'm glad we're not waiting too long. Not waiting long at all, honestly. My next point was about honesty. I kept wanting to yell at them each time they were like on screen and not telling the other something. I'm just like, okay, come on, please be honest with each other. You know you want to. It's like Val should have been honest with him about, being with Antonio and him being gay. And Dante should have been honest about where he was and what he was doing with Val, especially at the end there when she got hurt. Though I feel like maybe she wouldn't have listened fully, but I still think it would have helped if he had been honest and told her that, I was saying goodbye to my wife or my first wife, so that way I can build a future with you and this baby. So I feel like he should have been honest about that. And I mean, he did try to prove after the fact, with all the gifts, the nursery, cleaning out his late wife's room to make it a nursery. He was doing all this to prove that he is moving on and he is trying to make her a priority. So I do love that he did that as a way to show her all this, but I still was like, be honest with her. Tell her where you were. And the fact that she got mad at him for going to see his late wife on the anniversary of her death, I feel like she shouldn't have. I get it. She felt like she was a ghost in her own house and he was clinging to his late wife and their life together. But at the same time, I'm like, the one time you shouldn't get mad at him is when he's going to visit his wife on the anniversary of her death. I feel like that is the one time you shouldn't get mad at him because he should be able to do that. Every other time, maybe that's different. But on the actual anniversary of her death or the actual anniversary of when they got married, he should be allowed to go and see and mourn the wife. So that's just me. But then Val also not telling Dante about her marriage and that she was married to a gay guy and that they were never intimate with each other. I feel like she should have been honest. And I get that she was trying to say, or that she felt that it was a shame and that it would bring dishonor and it would be bad within the mafia world. But she still should have trusted him in telling him all this, that maybe they could have worked through it and figured out a way to kind of get past it and not turn it into what she's afraid it might be. Because I feel like if he had known that maybe there would have been better communication. And I mean, she did end up telling him and he was sweet and did care for her and wasn't running away. So, I mean, if she had told him sooner, then maybe they could have been a bit more understanding. And that's the one thing that always drives me crazy sometimes is when people don't communicate. And I get that's supposed to kind of bring in the drama and make things more crazy and drag things out, but sometimes you're just sitting here going like, just be honest with each other, and then maybe all these issues and all these misunderstandings won't happen, so you just you get to a point where you're like, just tell them the truth. And this was one of those times where it's just like, just tell him, see what happens. What's the worst he could do? I mean, yeah, probably kill her, but still, I feel like it could have been different. There could have been better communication between the two. That's just me. My next point is there was a small editing moment that kind of drove me crazy. And I don't think it meant to, but it was just one of those things where I just happened to notice it. So when Val was in the hospital, when Antonio first showed up, the episode ended with her looking to her right. And then when we switch to the next episode, she's looking to her left. So I was just like, I was very confused by the angle swap for a moment. And it, like I said, it did kind of drive me crazy a little from an editing standpoint. And maybe it was meant to do that. And I just didn't really see how. But it continues to make me question how verticals are edited all together and how they kind of figure which scenes end up in which episode type of thing. So it's definitely something that I would love to learn more about. I've said this before in other reviews that I would completely love to kind of dive in deeper into how the editing on verticals work, because it is quite interesting how each episode is supposed to be kind of like a standalone, but still in a bigger series. So it's something that I've questioned many times, like, do they get edited all together? Does it get uploaded all together? Does it get edited separately for each small little piece? Like, there are some things that I'm just like still unsure of that I'd love to dive more deep into. Hopefully one day that will happen. And I mean, like I said, it wasn't a big moment and it wasn't anything too important of a scene or fully noticeable, I feel like, but it's just something that I picked up on. And it was just one of those things where it was like, wait a minute, that changed. Why did that change? And I think a lot of people might not notice that small change. Like I said, I just happened to notice it. Again, I tend to blame it on the fact that I went to school for video editing and production, so sometimes I pick out things that other people don't or that other people don't see. And I know there are people out there who find things that I completely miss, so it happens. So the next note I had was just simply about the Bound by series, and I just say how I'm loving that we're getting more into the Bound by series, that we're kind of diving into other couples within the series, because I know there's quite a few. Because I've looked it up. I haven't read them, but now I kind of want to, because now that we're getting more into them, I would be interested to see how different things are, what other couples they have, and how they all kind of connect together in a sense. But I know it started with the Bound by Honor for Arya and Luca, and then we have the Arya and Luca sequel, Bound by Love, and we have Sweet Temptation, which had Julia and Cassio as the characters, which I don't know if that one is fully part of the Bound by series or if it's kind of like a spin-off of it, but I know it's connected to it. When I looked it up, I knew it said it was connected to it, at least. And now we have the Bound by Duty with Dante and Val, and then the sequel, Bound by the Past, with Dante and Val. So I'll be curious to see if we get anyone else in the Bound by series, because I'm pretty sure there's one with Matteo and Giovanna, which is Arya's sister. So curious if we get a standalone with them. But I do love that we've entered more of the Bound by series and we're getting more characters from that, because it's been very fun to watch. It's definitely one of my favorites with Savannah and Rhett when it came to Arya and Luca, which I will have Bound by Love coming up. I'm working on that one, but I wanted to do this one. So I love that we're just diving so deep into this series more and more. So I'm happy. I hope we get more. Like I said, I think I will definitely kind of check out the books, see how they are, kind of get a sense of any of the other couples that are within the Bound by series. But I definitely love this, and I'm glad we're entering more of the Bound by series and that universe, the Bound by universe, I'll say. So I'm very happy about that one. And so my thoughts on this one, my overall thoughts is I love this one. I thought the chemistry was great between Casey and Chase. I thought they did a great job as Val and Dante. I really enjoyed, their characters' banter back and forth, especially when they were playing darts and their characters flirting with each other. I really enjoyed that scene. It was definitely so much fun. And I look forward to the sequel with them, because it said I really enjoyed them as Val and Dante. I also have been really enjoying the Bound by series, and like I mentioned not too long ago, glad we're expanding the universe within Verticals and ReelShort, and hopefully there will be more to come. I am interested to see how this one kind of connects with Arya and Luca. Love to see if that kind of happens, if we get any of that within the series. I know when I was looking up actors on the show on IMDb, it said something about Matteo, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing him in this one. It's like, so is he going to be in Bound by the Past? Is that kind of give us a glimpse? Be interested to see. I know the trailer's already dropped from Bound by the Past, and you can kind of see that time has kind of jumped forward in that series, so should be interesting to see where that one goes. And like I said, as I mentioned, I probably will check out the books to kind of get an understanding more of each character and each couple, because these have been really fun and I've really enjoyed them, and I'm so happy that ReelShort has been the one creating and dropping them, because they've been super fun. And while Arya and Luca will be my favorite because Savannah and Rhett were just amazing, I will have to say that Dante and Val were pretty great too. I did enjoy them. I have not seen Sweet Temptation yet. That is next on my list, so we'll see how that one is. I look forward to it because that has Jesse Morales in it, and I adore him too. But yeah, so this has just been like a fun little series that I'm so happy ReelShort is just continuing, because I didn't think they would. But also, when they first dropped Bound by Honor, I thought that was just a story of Arya and Luca. I didn't realize until I looked it up that it is a series of different couples within the mob. So that was kind of fun to learn. And I did kind of wonder if ReelShort would bring on the other couples throughout the Bound by, or just stick to Arya and Luca. So I'm really glad, like I said, that they have expanded. We are getting more. We're getting introduced to different characters within the series and the different couples. So this was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. It was so cute. And I hated the cliffhanger. Like I said, I did hate that, but I am glad that the next part of the series is within the next weeks. So we will have that, which is great. I just loved everything about this. Like I said, chemistry on point, so great. They were fantastic. Chase played such a good mob boss, or mob capo, and I look forward to the sequel, seeing him continuing that role. So it was amazing. I really, really enjoyed this. So for a rating, I gave it a 7.8 out of 10. Because again, I do try to be fair based on rating. There was a little bit of pacing that I thought could have been better, but otherwise, all in all, it was really great and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so this has been Bound by Duty on ReelShort. As always, would love to hear your thoughts on the series, what you liked, what you didn't like. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to give it a review. Would love to hear your thoughts. I am your host, Megan. This has been my vertical obsession. Until next time.